Well, what does it do?
Well, it shrinks things. Like if you drink it, you shrink.
So what would you do with that?
Go into mouse holes. I don't know. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video at the Wizarding Vault, the safest place in all the Wizarding world. Today I'll be diving into my own life and doing the hashtag get to know me, or as Gilderoy Lockhart put it, the Who Am I quiz. So, my name's Will, I was born August 18th and I am 23. So I've been a Potterhead since about 2001, which is when the filming started in Picket Post Close in Bracknell, which was just round the corner from where I grew up as a kid. So my mum used to read us the Harry Potter books as kids. And as I've grown up, I've just become more and more obsessed. So I really enjoyed the Prisoner of Azkaban, and possibly it's a real toss-up between Prisoner of Azkaban and the Goblet of Fire, because for kind of like different reasons. So the Prisoner of Azkaban because the kind of mystery whodunit aspect, and the Goblet of Fire because it just opened up the entire wizarding world. You were introduced to an entire global scale of wizards, and it's kind of like the changing point where Voldemort's back and everything gets a bit more grown up after that point. So favourite movie? The Order of the Phoenix. I mean, how can you not like The Order of the Phoenix? The soundtrack is amazing, the casting for Umbridge was spot on, and it's just got a bit of everything. It's got the fight in the Ministry, it's light-hearted at the same time as being quite serious. What's not to enjoy about it? So I always sorted into Slytherin House. I just want to put it out there that we're not all evil. So my favourite character has to be Luna Lovegood, because she's just unapologetically her. So I would probably be most inclined to Defense Against Dark Arts or Potions. Okay, so my favourite teacher is Professor McGonagall, and basically because she is a badass old lady. For those of you who haven't seen the books, for those of you who haven't read the books, there's a amazing scene in the Battle of Hogwarts where she's fighting Snape, and it's actually quite different from the movie, where she's using Transfiguration to actually overpower Snape because he is attacking her with knives and swords from the statues, but she's just turning them into butterflies. So it's a bit more like the duel that Voldemort and Dumbledore have in the Order of the Phoenix movie, where they're actually trying to counter each other's spells rather than just full-on attack them. So mine is quite boring, unfortunately. It's Protego, which, as everyone probably knows, is the shield spell, and I don't know why. It's probably like the most useful spell. That, and it's extremely useful because you can basically just block anything, not just spells. So my favourite potion is the Shrinking Solution, which you don't really get to hear about in the film, but it's actually a really useful potion.
Well, what does it do?
Well, it shrinks things. Like if you drink it, you shrink.
So what would you do with that?
Go into mouse holes. I don't know. So my favourite set in the whole of the Harry Potter series has to be the Ministry of Magic. When you get to hear about the Ministry of Magic for 4 films, and it's not until the Order of the Phoenix where you just see this huge atrium. The scene it's just incredible. It's a shame that the Warner Brothers studio don't have a bigger section for the Ministry of Magic. They've only got 2 fireplaces that you can see. It'd just be so cool to be able to see, like, have more of a set to walk around in. So my favourite beast is the Kappa, which unfortunately you only get to very briefly see in The Crimes of Grindelwald for a brief second at the circus when it's sitting in the bathtub, but when I read about it in the Fantastic Beasts book, it was just one of those creatures where it actually has a very flawed weakness which can be quite easily exploited. I like the fact that it's not too overpowered, it's the right level of threat and ability to be defeated. Having that kind of balance, like a boggart almost, it just makes it a bit more realistic. So I support the Wimborne Wasps because they're the closest team to where I live. So I would probably have to say that I'd be a keeper if I had to pick a position. I probably wouldn't be the one playing Quidditch. I've never been that sporty, but if I had to pick a position, it would probably be the keeper. My favourite magical item has to be the Marauder's map. It's just such a fascinating object. So I would probably be a healer. You don't actually get to hear about them at all in the films, whereas in the books they're pretty much the Wizarding equivalent of a Muggle doctor, and you read about them in St Mungo's hospital, where they use basically every kind of field of magic to their advantage. Anything from potion making to alchemy to their knowledge of curses and beasts to be able to find cure. And they're there to help cure patients who have been afflicted by spells that have gone wrong, which is the kind of side that you only get to see a little bit of in the films from Madame Pomfrey, who's a healer, but she's also a magical matron. If I could have any of the Deathly Hallows, I would probably choose the Elder Wand, mainly based from the job that I'd want to do. Although it wouldn't be able to bring someone back from the dead, because no amount of magic can do that, it would make curing people a lot easier, and you'd actually be using the wand for a purely good purpose, rather than fighting people. And it wouldn't raise too much suspicion where you're being able to do magic that most people can't do, because the whole point of the Old Wand is you can do the spells you can do, but to greater effect. So that wraps up the video. I hope you found it slightly interesting. Feel free to answer any of the questions that were in the video down in the comment section below, and make sure you click the subscribe button and also like the video because it really helps out the channel, and I will see you in the next one.